Hi, I'm Joblin and welcome to Money Trees, the show where we break down financial top fives for you. It's often said that two heads are better than one, but that's not always the case. Let's take a look at the top 5 worst mergers. At number 5, we have the merger between New York Central Railroad and the Pennsylvania Railroad. Fierce rivals throughout the 19th century, these two corporations applied for a merger in 1962. At the time, the deal would have created the 6th largest corporation in the US, but by the time the deal was approved in 1968, travel trends had evolved to include highways and planes. Tighter regulations and leadership conflicts also played a part in destroying value, and within 2 years, the Pennsylvania-New York Central Transportation Company filed for what was the largest bankruptcy in US history at the time. Next up, at number 4, we have Quaker Oats and Snapple. From the outset, Wall Street warned that the ingredients were wrong for this merger. Analysts believed that when Quaker Oats bought Snapple for $1.7 billion, they overpaid by a whopping $1 billion. The deal that went through in 1994 was doomed from the start. Not only did Quaker Oats overpay, they bought a business that they had no idea how to run and were unable to bring specific value-added skill sets and expertise. In a classic case of not doing your own due diligence, Quaker Oats planned to leverage Snapple's existing relationships with supermarkets and large retailers, failing to realize that about half of Snapple's sales came from smaller channels, such as convenience stores. They also mishandled Snapple's advertising, and the differing cultures translated into a disastrous marketing campaign for Snapple that managed to offend potential consumers. Just 27 months later, Quaker Oats sold Snapple to a holding company for $300 million, which works out to a loss of $1.6 million for each day they own Snapple. Third on the list is Sprint and Nextel Communications. These firms worked out a merger in 2005 valued at $35 billion. Despite both being telecommunication companies, they had very different approaches. Nextel placed more emphasis on the business, while Sprint focused on consumers and broadening data communications. They were also hit hard by the introduction of smartphones to the market. High-level executives began to leave almost immediately, and in 2013 the company wound up. At number 2, we have eBay and Skype. Back in September 2005, eBay announced that it was buying internet telephone company Skype Technologies for $2.6 billion. The aim was to integrate the two technologies so that Skype would improve communications between potential buyers and sellers, building relationships and driving sales. It didn't work out this way. For most eBay users, email was effective and anonymous enough. The merger also suffered from a culture clash between the two companies. Several management teams came and went over the next 4 years. Eventually, in 2009, eBay sold off 65% of the company to Silver Lake, Andreessen Horowitz, and the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board for $1.9 billion. Now, for the most infamous merger failure of all time. In 2001, America Online, or AOL, acquired Time Warner in a mega merger for $165 billion, the largest business tie-up at that time. Both companies expected to capitalize by blending mass media and the internet. The dot-com bubble burst followed shortly after, destroying that promising potential. The company's value crashed dramatically, and in 2002 it was reported that its valuation had dropped by a massive $99 billion, the largest loss from a merger ever reported. Now, here at Investing Channel, we always talk about the importance of doing your due diligence. That's why. See you next week.